What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So I gotta speak on this disconnect between the young generation and the older generation, right? It's man, okay. So let me just start with the story. So according to an Instagram page called its underscore on site, it's on site, it's an Instagram page. It reported yesterday that student athletes were hospitalized after a football coach in Texas required the players to do 300 push-ups within an hour, right? After finding this out, the coach has now been placed on leave. So the football coach is making his football players do 300 push-ups in an hour. The parents say after the coach made them do this, their children became very sick. After the whole workout requirement, they became very sick and they were hospitalized after the fact. So when I read this story, I'm looking in the comment section and I'm looking at like some people sharing it on Facebook. You should see some of the responses from the older generation. The older generation, after hearing that kids were hospitalized due to the coach making his players do 300 push-ups in an hour, you got grown men on here calling these kids soft. Calling them soft because they had to be admitted to the hospital. Calling them soft because the coach has been placed on leave. The kid's soft now because the coach didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Wow. How shocking. You know, it kills me. A lot of the older generation tried to act like they were so much tougher and so much harder and so much more physical and so much more brutes than a younger generation, right? Because they endured some hardships that they shouldn't have been enduring in the first place, right? And instead of some of the older generation recognizing, hey man, our kids don't need to go through the same turmoil and the same type of trials and tribulations and the same type of trauma that we went through. A lot of the older generation want the kids to suffer like they did because somehow they seem vindicated in suffering as well. I swear, I hope I never be one of them old heads when I get older. Now, I just turned 30 years old, so I'm an old head to somebody. And I say old head endearingly, right? But when I get older, I hope I never become one of these individuals who think that anytime a kid, is pushed back to a kid in some type of overly harsh, cruel exercise or some overly harsh, cruel punishment, anytime a kid objects to that, they're being soft. I don't ever want to be one of those individuals because people they're trying to hold on to the toughness and the bravado of their era so bad. People lack empathy. People lack compassion for children. Like a kid was hospitalized at the end of the day, right? So all of that, all of that, regardless if you think they soft or not, something happened that was not supposed to happen where a kid is in the hospital. Kids were in the hospital. Something was going on. Like the coach was being irresponsible. Some children was in the hospital. The coach was doing something he didn't have no business doing. And that's the reality of it. So all that, they being soft. Fam, knock it off. I see people in the comment section talking tough Tony talk. 300 push-ups in a minute. They can't do 300 push-ups in an hour. Man, what type of weak kids going on today? What type of weak kids we got in society today? All this is the generation of the kids that want a participation trophy so bad. That's why these kids can't do nothing. If you're on a varsity football team, you should be able to do 300 push-ups in an hour. Fam, knock it the fuck off. A lot of these people talking can't do 100 push-ups in an hour. Talking all that tough shit. And they'll say, because I'm old now. Nah, motherfucker, when you was younger, you couldn't do 150 in an hour. You couldn't do 200 in an hour. So all of that, see, it's easy. It's something easy for some people when you light as a feather. But when you got some weight on you, even if you don't got no weight on you, 300 push-ups, you got to build up to that. Ain't nobody going to do no 300 push-ups and no 300 push-ups just knock him out so crazy, even in sets when you're first doing that. You have to practice that. That is something that you have to build your way up to. Only a crazed athlete, a crazed professional who's been through the rigors of being an amateur athlete to a professional, like a Floyd Mayweather Jr., can knock out 300 in 3 hours. In an hour, in an hour. I'm saying 3 hours. 300 in an hour? Come on, fam. Only a crazed professional athlete can do that. And a lot of them sometimes struggle to do that. It's people out here that been just in tip-top shape that can't do that shit. Because the reality is, after a while, I don't care. I done sat and done 100 push-ups straight through. This when I was lighter. I was probably like 150. And I was doing it a lot. 100 something put. That shit hurt like hell. Your arms start to lock up, get tired. Your muscles start to get tight. You start to get cramps in your arms and shit because it hurts so bad doing them straight through like that. And even if you don't do it straight through, like 300 and even if you do it in sets, that shit is immensely hard to do in an hour. But people out here beating their chest, I could do, man, when I was younger. Boy, shut up. Shut up, fam. Your ass wasn't doing shit. You wasn't doing no 300 in no hour. I don't care what nobody's talking about. Floyd Mayweather will tell you it take a while to build up to that. And it's one of the most in shape and fit individuals throughout his whole entire career. Didn't drink, didn't smoke, was a gym rat. And he'll tell you 300 in an hour, you got to build your way up to that. That ain't nothing you could just do. I'm talking about 300 push-ups for real. Not them little half-ass, little halfway, your arms not even locking when you're doing it. Halfway, that don't count. Push-ups, chest to the ground, brother. Arms locking. That's different. That's different. Not that little halfway little taps y'all be doing trying to do it, honey. That shit don't count. I'm talking about real push-ups. You know, I'm doing cussing because people be, oh, these kids soft today. They soft. That's their problem. All it is they soft. They spoil. They soft and spoil. But coach running you to the ground. I mean, got you out here just like walking like a zombie back in the day, and y'all think that's cool and that was okay. How did y'all feel after that? Didn't feel good at all. And first of all, I know damn sure you wasn't doing no 300 push-ups in an hour. I know that for a fact. Y'all lying. Lying to sound tough on social media. Everybody's so tough beating their chest. Everybody King Kong. Everybody Tough Tony or Alonzo Harris from Training Day. They beating their King Kong ain't got, SHIT on you, huh? For real? Oh, that's where we going for real, man. And then what's worse is that the kids got sick because they were suffering from a condition called rhabdomyolysis. 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 Rhabdomyolysis, right? And this condition is a condition where a breakdown of muscle tissue can occur, where the breakdown releases a damaging protein into the blood, which can cause damage to a kid's kidneys, right? So they were suffering from this condition where they had a breakdown of muscle tissue because they were actually acquiescing to their coach's needs and their coach's requirements. They were acquiescing to it. They were giving into it. They were, okay, we're going to work out. We're going to do these 300 push-ups. We're going to try to knock this out, even though they knew they were going beyond their limits, right? So the kids were doing the push-ups and they experienced a breakdown of muscle tissue where the breakdown released a damaging protein into their bloodstream, which could have potentially damaged their kidneys. They were sick as a dog because the coach out here don't know what the hell he doing. All of that is soft. It's soft. It ain't soft at all. For real, it's really silly as hell on the coach part. Because instead, the brother can just put together a solid training regimen for the athletes to follow and call it a day. And this is the thing, too. A lot of these coaches that coach these kids, they don't know what the hell they be doing. They don't know what they doing. They just out here making shit up along the way. Just making stuff up as they go. And thinking that, doing the most rigorous, craziest stuff makes you a good coach. A lot of times, that shit make you a terrible ass coach. You can't run these kids into the ground and then call it tough love for the sake of tough. Some of y'all saw, and I made a video about how black folks think that tough love is the best love to give you, and that's the only way they parent their kids with tough love. This shit like that, calling kids soft because they going to the hospital and they getting sick and they can't do 300 push-ups in an hour. That's that fake ass tough love shit that y'all think is some real stuff that'll have your kids hating the hell out you and despising you when they get older and vowing to never be like you and trying to break generational curses, right? But again, you can't run these kids into the ground and expect them to come out and perform and deliver on some silly ass nonsense that you got going on. You don't know how to put together a real training regimen, so you just making stuff up. Just running them to the ground, having them doing all type of obscure, crazy stuff that's not good for their health. Doing 300 push-ups, you can put them on weights and stuff, but 300 push-ups in an hour is not going to make them some great football players. It's not. You can make them on a steady weightlifting routine, steady as you go, to help them get stronger over time. But 300 push-ups in an hour, really, dog, it's not going to do nothing to them. It's not going to make them able to tackle better. It's not going to be able to make them tougher. Like, come on, fam. Like, no, knock it off, right? And again, third of all, y'all calling these kids soft. You don't know what the hell they was doing prior to doing them 300 push-ups. You don't know what they had going on or what they had to endure or what they was really having to get through, whatever workout they were having to get through before the push-ups even took place, right? But again, y'all act like, you were so much tougher. Like these kids are just soft because they don't do this and they don't get that. Like again, y'all out here talking about these kids getting treated with kid gloves and they just want participation trophies. When your coach was fucking terrible. He was horrible. Didn't have a clue about what he was doing, running y'all through the ground. Just and again, you can have 2-a-days and 3-a-days and all of that. That's cool. But it's a limit. It's supposed to be controlled in a way where your kids are out here getting sick. Because a muscle breakdown is occurring where what did I say? A damaging protein is being released into their bloodstream. And they getting sick as a dog. Getting sick as a dog, man. Like, come on, yo. But again, a lot of the older generation, they're vying to seem tougher than the younger generation so bad. They're having moments like this outrageous where kids are getting sent to the hospital or getting hospitalized. They're picking these moments to call the younger generation soft. Really? Really, fam? Because I bet you if it was your kid out there getting sick as a dog with the damaging protein being released into their bloodstream and they getting sick, you would be out there on the front lines cussing everybody out. You wouldn't be calling your kids soft and they need to grow up and they need to get toughened up. Are you for real? But again, the same generation that talk all that tough love stuff and they need to toughen up and all this, toughen up and all this and all that type of talk. Them same people were soft as hell back in the day. Getting bullied, getting ran over. And you want your kids to get ran over and bullied and trashed and all that because it used to happen to you. You know, and if it don't happen to you, and since it happened to you, your kids got to go through the same thing. Come on, for real. And the coaches, the football coaches, they're going to be tough. They're going to be disciplined, so on and so forth. But again, it's a limit to everything. Some of my best friends were collegiate athletes. Division I athletes. And a lot of that stuff, they wasn't 300 push-ups in no 1 hour. They wasn't doing that. And they were great athletes. My homie Kiefer Sykes, one of the most in-shape athletes I've ever met in my life. He ain't doing no 300 push-ups in no hour. He was a basketball player. No, he's not. He's not. And if he does, it's going to kill him to do that. Ain't nothing he do on a regular. And them football players don't do it on a regular either. That's why they couldn't do it. It was something he thought he just made up as he went along. But all of that, you ain't tough enough, y'all ain't tough, y'all soft. All that fake bravado stuff, people be talking all of that cash talk. Ain't played no Division I sport, ain't even did nothing, wasn't playing no sport in high school at all, just really ready to call people soft. And I didn't play Division I sports, I didn't play no sport in high school, but I've been around athletes to know, nah, bro, that ain't it. That ain't it. But a lot of other people be on there lying, acting like they was just this and that, lying like they was just like they was the best athletes in their town and they did it all the time. No, the hell you didn't. No, you did. Stop lying on it. Just both of us be on this website, and I hate the word capping. Be on this website on social media, just capping, lying all the way through. Big cap, just to make themselves seem more honorable and more just courageous and more valiant. Like really, for the fake bravado, so you can have something to beat your chest on. You can have something to beat your chest on or beat your chest about. Oh, these kids, they just soft. They just soft. For real, bro. For real, man, like, again, it's a better way to handle these workouts with these kids, man. But a lot of y'all will never understand because y'all just so fixated on making a point that your generation was tougher. You know, same thing that a lot of these people do even with sports debate. LeBron and the athletes of the 90s. And I seen dudes, because people like, LeBron's soft. These young kids soft today. You know, just imagine what he would do with Rick Mahorn. And I'm telling y'all right now, look into the camera when I say this. Please look at me. I mean this in every part of my heart, body, and soul, and mind, and spirit. LeBron James will fuck Rick Mahorn's life up. Will fuck Rick Mahorn's life up. Rick Mahorn wouldn't know what the hell to do with LeBron James. He'd be calling for timeout. Rick Mahorn ass ain't staying in front of no LeBron even with hand checking. He getting his ass dunked the fuck on. All right? Getting his ass all that foul and all that elbow and think you tough. That shit mean you lacking in the area. You ain't good as you think you are. You gonna get this motherfucking work. All right? So all that talking about, can you imagine LeBron's soft ass going against Rick Mahorn? Rick Mahorn getting his ass done in. I'm just letting y'all know that. Bill Laimbeer getting his slow ass, slewfoot ass fucked up. Oh, let me stop playing, man. Machiavelli Mills TV. More of the story is, older generation just want better for the youth. Don't try to use these moments as a point to prove that your generation was tougher than theirs. This is not a tool measuring contest, if you will. So it's about wanting better for the kids. So don't try to, at the expense of children, try to prove your era of your generation of people or of men were so tougher and stronger. All that tough and strong stuff that was going on, it was some of y'all was getting smacked up like a mug outside of y'all sports. So I ain't trying to hear that. Machiavelli Mills TV, I'm out. Peace.